This is a practice video for the Cadenza from the Haydn Concerto No. 2, the first movement, right after the first movement. So I'm going to be breaking this up into small sections, and then I will hopefully successfully play the entire thing through. It's been a while since I did the whole thing all the way through. Cadenzas are up to your interpretation. So there's going to be some room for you to take tempos at a different speed, add in your own dynamics and all of that. So this is just basics on how to get through all of these notes. So bowings can also be adjusted during cadenzas. So for the first part here, I'm going to slur 6 to a bar instead of, or 6 to a bow instead of the 12. So let's just take this first chunk. As you notice, there's like little dots instead of solid bar lines. So we're just going to do this first little bit. And I like to keep this on kind of the slower side and make it kind of a floaty sound. But here's the first measure. But still has that triplet feel. If you want to make sure it's in strict time, okay, nothing too crazy. And now we're going to move to the next measure. Some rolled chords, still in that triplet feel. And I'm going to keep this all in first position. So in time without messing with anything. Okay, so keep that nice and even. You can again mess with the tempo. That's after you get all the notes down. And now we get into the first kind of challenging section. So we're doing some chords and third position. So you're going to start this next line. So this is the line below measure 111. In third position, have your 1 on both the D and the G strings. So you have that fifth. You can get that in tune on this violin. And then with your second finger, you're going to put that on the A string for the note E. So you're going to roll that across. So you notice there's a slash through the C. So that's just a quick little grace note. Your main notes are going to be the G and E. So you want to hold those two notes together. Then you're going to stay in third position. Same chord, but with a low 2 now for your E flat. And you notice that it's not a grace note anymore. So you want to spend a little bit more time on the bottom 2 notes. Again, keep your 1 on both strings, bridging, and then the low 2 half step. Stay still in third position. E flat, harmonic. Now you can finally come down to first position. We have a B flat, low 2, and then your third finger is going to bridge the D and A strings. And again, you want to do a 2 and 2 sound. Go back to third position. And then back down to first for an A, G, and C sharp. So these 2 fingers are going to do a little crisscross like that because they're a half step. So, and then you have your E natural. You can do a low 4 or a high 3 for the C sharp. And then a 1 and 3 double step. And that's the end of that section. So now I'm going to kind of play that at a slower speed, but all the way through without explaining all the way through. So. Ooh, that's bad. Sorry. And that leads you through into the next part. All right, so in the next section, these big old scales, I changed the bowing here. So I start on my F sharp and D. If you struggle with getting that in tune, you could also move that up into second position and play a 1 and 3 instead of a 2 and 4. But take a little time to tune that. Then I hold my F just a little longer, and then I'm going to start on an up bow for the rest of this. Down bow here on the C. And then I'm going to change to an up bow again. So the Largamente will start on a down. So this is another place where you can really play around with tempo. Here's how I like to do it. And if it doesn't work to change, as you saw, I did not change where I said I was going to on that last up bow. Just change where it feels natural. Just try to split that up somewhat evenly. Okay, so now we're at the Largamente. This part stretched out, kind of more of a broader sound. We're starting in third position, so let's do the first three groups of 16ths before all the double stops start. Down to first. And now we're going to continue that same pattern, but add double stops on the first and third notes of every group. So a 2 and a 4. 2 and 2, 1 and 3, 1 and 1, 2 and open. Oop, I lost my place. Opens. And now you're going to go to third position. 1 and 1, down to first. Low 2 and 4. And now you're going to keep that C natural down and scoot your third finger down to a low 3 position for this. C natural versus F sharp. And that's how that part will go. So I'll play that whole little Largamente part until we get to the next dash line. So here's how this would go. Work those double stops really slow. Make sure that you know where your hand is going, right fingering's in, so you can make it as smooth and effortless as possible. All right, so now we're going to the last measure. If you notice, there was also an accelerando in there. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. But we're in the last section of this line, right after that dotted bar line again. So let's just look at these, take the slur out, and look at each grouping. So we have a 1 and 3, same one. Low 4 for C sharp because your 3 is busy. Open. And then I'm fine with just doing an open D here. If you really want to use a 4 to string cross from the G string over, feel free to do that. Okay, so let's go back through those double stops now with the tempo changes. So Largamente, we're going to stretch out. Accelerando, we're going to speed up through that last grouping, and then we're going to slow down ritardando through those last 4 16th notes of that line. All right, so here we go from the Largamente, closer to what a performance would be like. And of course, you can speed up as much as you're comfortable with, or really pull those last 4 notes a lot slower too. All right, so we're in the last line. You're almost there. So we hit that last chord, and then I'm going to change this to an up bow, starting on the open D. Third position. I kind of like to separate that as well, so the D to B. Then you're going up to a high G. 6th position, so the G to E to D. Come down to first position for a 3 and 4, 2 and 3, 1 and 2. So you want to practice that, make sure that those 6 are sounding good. And now for the last chord, you're going to go up to second position. So your 1's on C, 2's on the A. Then use your open D as a double stop, and you're only going to trill the upper note. So you're going to trill between the 2 and the 3. And as far as bowing, I like to split that whole note up and then tag in the grace notes with that up bow, and of course the chord at the end on a down. All right, so I hope that helped with kind of breaking that apart. So here's an example of what this cadenza could sound like. And again, you want to tailor it to your personality and your strengths. That's what cadenzas are all about. So here we go. something like that. So good luck, and of course I'll be helping you out with this in our lessons in the future.